Oh, hi, it's the day after Christmas. So, how was your Christmas? How did it go? Did you have a good Christmas? It's kind of a blah Christmas for me, very meh. But but pretty much didn't leave the house because it was arctically cold in Chicago. Um, so uh, did not want to venture out into that coldness. So that's what this hair is about. When you wash your hair and don't leave the house, and you put it up and then don't take it down for a few days. This is what happens. So, okay. So today I have a few things to talk about. Um, First of all, Zachary Levi stood up for James Gunn um, and Peter Safran, because of all the noise that's been going on around DC and their their let's see their plan and them scrapping Wonder Woman 3 and them possibly scrapping Superman. So a lot of fans have been out there calling uh, for James Gunn to be fired before he even gets a chance to do anything. So he's taken up for him. So Shazam star Zachary Levi backs DC bosses James Gunn and Peter Safran. Effing give them a break. There's a lot of people that didn't like those things the actor said of the recent run of DC studio films. Zachary Levi is sharing his thoughts on the state of DC studio films amid recent changes overseen by new bosses James Gunn and Peter Safran. Levi posted an Instagram live video Thursday to set the record straight on ongoing discussion surrounding Warner Bros.' evolving plan for its future slate of films based on DC Comics characters. The actor reprises his role as DC hero Shazam in Shazam! Fury of the Gods, hitting theaters March 17th, 2023. In light of Dwayne Johnson announcing earlier this week that his recent film Black Adam, in which he stars as the titular nemesis of Shazam, will not be getting a sequel anytime soon, Levi said his aim was to dispel any random deceitful banter circulating online. While Levi made it clear that he's not fully sure what Gunn and Safran have in mind for Shazam, he believes he is in a pretty good position and encouraged fans to be patient and give them some space and some time to try and really make something special with the DC universe. Up to this point, there have been quite a few DC films that may have made some fans very happy, but they're not tapping into the larger audience, Levi said. Marvel was very successful in doing that, bringing in as many people to the table, as many people that could be satiated and brought joy and all that stuff. He continued, if you're out there and you realize you really like what happened before, you can do that. That's fine. Recognize there's a lot of people that didn't like those things, and we should always be trying to, I think, tap into as much audience as possible, making as many people as happy as possible. That's what we're in entertainment for. And I think that's what Peter and James are really trying to do. And it's not an easy position. They got handed all these things that were already in a lot of conflict. So guys, just effing give them a break. Take it easy. Take a breath. Levi pushed back against fan criticism of his 2019 film Shazam, calling it a really charming movie. The Chuck alum added that he believes the film's sequel is even better than the first and is likely to do reasonably well at the box office. Although he didn't name anyone specifically, Levi also said he wishes he could work with some of the people who are exiting the DC world, an apparent reference to both Johnson and Henry Cavill, Cavill. I never know how to pronounce his name, who reprised his role as Superman in a Black Adam cameo. On December 14th, Cavill confirmed that he would not be returning after all as the Man of Steel after Gunn and Safran informed him that they will be taking the character in a new direction. The day before Cavill's announcement, filmmaker Patty Jenkins posted to social media about the studio not moving forward with Wonder Woman 3 after she had submitted a treatment for the film. She wrote in part that there was nothing I could do to move anything forward at this time. So I agree. Give them a chance. Give them a chance. Before you start calling for their heads, see what they have. All you know is what they're not going to do. You don't know what they are going to do. Give them a chance to roll out their plan first. Hear their plan and then criticize it. But even once they roll out their plan, give them time to execute the plan too. So, because sometimes things are better executed than you can see words on paper. I would give them a chance to roll out their plan and execute that plan before I start criticizing them and saying, okay, now let's call for their heads. It's, they were just hired in November? Like, seriously, this is why people call the DC fandom problematic. And I don't want to be a part of problematic fandom. I'm a DC fan. I don't find myself problematic, but I don't want to lump myself in with people who are calling for other people's heads either. So, yeah. So I agree with Zachary. He, of course, is in a good position to feel good about himself. His first film was well received. And the second film is probably, like, if he feels the second film is better than the first, I really like the first film. And if the second film is better than the first, then he has a lot to be confident about. So he's sitting there saying, well, I don't know about the rest of you, but I think I'm going to be okay. So, yeah. Well, yeah. So give them a chance before we run all over them. Okay. Next up is Daredevil. So Charlie Cox believes that Daredevil will be dark, but not gory. Let's see, where is that? I think that's it. Yeah. Okay. So Charlie Cox says Disney Plus Daredevil series will be dark, but probably won't be as gory. The actor is reviving his portrayal of Matt Murdock, the Devil of Hell's Kitchen, in the 2024 show after leading a separate 3-season series for Netflix. The Devil of Hell's Kitchen is back thanks to a Disney Plus revival, but don't expect Matt Murdock, say that 3 times fast, to pack the same bloody punch he did during Daredevil's Netflix run. In an interview with NME star Charlie Cox, who first embodied the Nelson and Murdoch Law Office co-founder and blind vigilante for 3 seasons starting in 2015, clarified that fans of the original series should expect some similarities within the Disney Plus show Daredevil Born Again when it comes to its tone. But the actor also cautioned, as someone who believes his character works best when he's geared towards a slightly more mature audience, that other things will definitely be different. My instinct is that on Disney Plus, it will be dark, but it probably won't be as gory, he said. Fans of the original Netflix series were particularly attached to Daredevil's more mature, gritty, and unabashedly brutal TVMA take, which was applied throughout the Netflix Marvel TV Defenders universe, including on shows like Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. Born Again star is aware of those fans' expectations, but argues that pulling back on some of that violence and making the character and show more accessible to a wider audience may not be a bad thing. I would say to those people, we've done that. Let's take the things that really worked, but can we broaden, he said. Can we appeal to a slightly younger audience without losing what we've learned about what works? Born Again will see Cox's Murdoch return as an avocado at law, and Man Without Fear in the series. I am totally confused by that phrase. And in the series, the actor who is returning alongside the original series, Kingpin actor Vincent D'Onofrio, says will not be a continuation of the Netflix show. The fact that Kevin talks about it as being a season 1 rather than a season 4, my feeling is this is a whole new deal. Cox told Screen Rant in September, Netflix's Daredevil, created by Drew Goddard and showrun in its debut season by Stephen S. DeKnight, was canceled in late 2018 ahead of the announcement that Marvel Television was shuttering and would be folded into Marvel Studios. For years, fans campaigned to bring Murdoch back, with Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige confirming that news in December 2021. Alongside the release of Spider-Man No Way Home, Murdoch's cameo would mark the first MCU big screen appearance of the character. Cox would go on to appear in several episodes of this year's She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. During San Diego Comic-Con 2022, Feige announced that Born Again would receive an 18-episode season and spring 2024 premiere. That's long for Disney Plus. 18 hosts, 18 episodes. 18 episodes. I don't know of any other show that has 18 episodes. So, he's a fan of being dark but not so gory, trying to broaden the audience and get a younger crowd. I just hope that they don't take it down too much, you know. Goodness, what was I can't remember. I'm not going to even go for the reference because I can't remember. Somebody was saying, I can't even remember what the reference was entitled, but it was about, I think it was about Pretty Woman. And the original Pretty Woman was called, the script was called 3000, and then it was bought by Disney, of course. And Disney was like, they gave a scale from like, I guess like PG to rated R, and told them like, how close they were, and we want you to bring it down this far, like somewhere in the middle. They didn't want it to take away all of the edge, but they didn't want it to be too edgy. And so I guess that's what they want to do with Daredevil. They want to take away some of the edge, but they don't want to take away all of it. They want to keep the edge. So they want to make it, accessible to a broader audience, but they want to keep the edge. I just 18 episodes. That's a lot. I'm hoping that the fact that they're willing to invest in 18 episodes means that they're willing to invest in making this show as good as humanly possible. So I'm going to reserve judgment until I see, like I'm reserving judgment for James Gunn and Peter Safran. Or Safran. I call him Safran like the spice. I don't even know if that's how you pronounce his name. Safran or Safran? Safran. However you pronounce his name. I'm reserving judgment for all of this until I see it. Okay. Next is I finally watched Disenchanted. That was first of all, it's a straight up musical. Like the first one had songs in it, and they would bust out into songs, and she would sing to the birds, and sing to the animals, but it wasn't quite a musical. But this one, straight up musical. Everybody gets a song. Everybody sings throughout. It's a straight up musical. Was not expecting that. Well, of course, I wasn't expecting anything because I don't watch trailers, but was definitely not expecting that. A lot of the times the songs were a bit cheesy. Best song though, hands down, was a duet between Maya Rudolph and Amy Adams. I don't know the name of the song, probably called Batter or something like that, about who's batter. But that song, best song of the whole movie. That was the best song. But so once I got past the cheesiness of it being a musical, and sort of got used to what the movie was now, I was able to enjoy it. I enjoyed it. It took a minute. It took a minute for me to get into it. I was well into the second act before I truly got into it. But once we got into, like, there is a plot point where everything goes left, and once when that happens, it sort of grabs me, and that sort of gets me involved. So yeah, if you're not into it at the beginning, if you can hang on to, like, some conflict in the second act comes in with Amy Adams. It's enjoyable. And finally, episode 5 of Willow. Finally watched that. And so last episode they were stuck at Bathmortar's castle. This episode they are stuck in the Wildwood with the Bone Reavers, and you find out that the girl who is going to be a knight, I don't know her name. I don't know anybody's name. I never know anybody's names. But the girl who is going to be a knight, redhead chick, she discovers that she's not who she thinks she is. She's actually a Bone Reaver. and she's like the head Bone Reaver sister, and Mad Mardigan actually killed her father, and Sorsha came and took her and raised her and told her this fake story and raised her to think something completely different than what actually happened in her life, which is, you know, low-key kind of evil, you know, but she meant well. And so you know, she had to deal with that. Then of course, Laura Dannon, you know, I know her name because everybody says it every other second, but Laura Dannon, you know, she and the prince, they had their little confrontation where she finally tells him that she saw him kill his brother when she was, you know, expelling that evil spirit from his body last episode. And he was like, I was possessed. And she was like, you're constantly being possessed by stuff. Who are you? He's like, I'm still trying to figure it out. So afterwards, she felt guilty for being so cruel to him. But she didn't get a chance to really make it up to him because then trolls came, they kidnapped the princess, and now somebody else is kidnapped. They are never going to get to this prince and save him. He is out walking in the desert by himself. He is going to make it back home before they ever make it to him. Because they keep getting somebody, every episode, somebody gets kidnapped in their little rescue group. It's like, how is the rescue group going to rescue the person if they have to be rescued every single episode? But every single episode, somebody has to be rescued. But they ate these truth plums, which is highly convenient. So everybody was going around talking their truth. And Willow happened to say to the prince that he was, you know, he wasn't this great wizard. He was actually a hack. And Laura Dannon overhears him. So now she's upset with him. So, so she then confronted the prince. So now she's going to have to confront Willow. So that's going to be next episode. Now they got to get back the princess. They got to get back. And by the end of the episode, Willow was missing too. I don't know what happened to Willow. So they got to find Willow. They got to get back the princess, and she's going to have to confront Willow. So that's what's going to happen next week. We still don't know where Eric, whatever that boy's name is. But that is all. Okay, so I'll have a video up Friday, and next week will be the same deal. It'll be the day after New Year, so I will still be live streaming. So I will be on the day after New Year's. So I shall see you then. Bye.